Hey there guys, welcome back to Let's Play Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm MysteriousJG. So last time, we got our dad killed, and, sort of, and, ended up, well, we became the new Pathfinder, and as we found out, the Pathfinder's special thing is that they've got an AI in their head, indoctrinating them. The AI is also the one writing the Codex. The Codex is our best chance to figure out what's going on. So let's keep reading. About the initiative. History, organization, and persons of note in the Andromeda Initiative. Brainchild of visionary billionaire Gian Garson. The Andromeda Initiative is conceived as Garson's personal dream and a desire to prove humanity's capabilities beyond the military power demonstrated in the First Contact War. Garson officially began planning the initiative in 2172, announcing her ambitious goal of launching a pioneering colonization effort to Andromeda within 20 years. I'm not sure why. After the First Contact War, we had to be pretty early on in humanity's colonization of their local cluster. Why are they trying to go into another galaxy at this point? Well, internal reports show that... I mean, there's stuff in Mass Effect about how human colonies on the edge of the Terminus systems are, like, too far removed from Earth to be easily defended and blah, blah, blah. So they're going to another galaxy now. Internal reports show the struggles that the early initiative faced. However, Gian Garson's personal stake and enthusiasm sustained the initiative until the early 2180s, when, after a sudden influx of investment and a new marketing strategy, I think Cerberus is involved with the investment, interest in the initiative grew afresh. Construction of the Ark was completed rapidly thereafter. The Andromeda Initiative officially launched in 2185. The initiative's mission statement is to bridge Andromeda and the Milky Way, create a sustainable, inclusive civilization, and push scientific development forward by centuries. In official literature, Gian Garson characterizes the initiative as continuing the search for humanity's next horizon. Andromeda Initiative, Golden Worlds. Golden Worlds are planets in Andromeda's Helios cluster that are either the strongest possible candidates for settlement or whose resources should bolster the initiative's chances at long-term survival. Based on survey data and long-term projections, some are believed to be garden worlds capable of supporting life. Others are mineral treasure troves that could supply fledgling colonies with vital resources. These worlds were designated habitats 1 through 7. While not generally used in planetary surveying, the term Golden Worlds was coined by the Andromeda Initiative's marketing team and has stuck ever since. The initiative's early settlement strategies revolves around these Golden Worlds. These arcs cannot sustain a population in stasis indefinitely, and the Nexus requires vast quantities of refined ore, helium-3, water ice, and element 0. I'm like going back and forth between gold dust and solid as snake here for some reason. On the ground, Pathfinder surveys are essential to confirming quickly that the Golden Worlds are suitable for outposts. Glossary of terms. I was looking for one of these today, as a matter of fact. Brief refresher of terms used in Andromeda Initiative literature. Ammunition block. A solid block of metal loaded into a gun. Sand-sized particles are sheared off by the gun's targeting mechanism and then fired as projectiles, allowing a single block to give ammunition for multiple combat encounters. Citadel. A massive ancient space station in the Milky Way that acts as political and cultural center of the galaxy. This really is the... They really are not incorporating a whole lot of the previous Mass Effect trilogy, are they? Comboy. A communications buoy that relays data through quarters of mass-free space. Yeah, I know what a comboy is. Extranet, publicly accessible information network across the Milky Way, akin to the planetary internet on a galactic scale. Such a network is slowly being developed in Andromeda, with communications are established. Hard suit. While communications are established. Hard suit. An exploration combat suit, usually armored with titanium or ceramic plating, and equipped with kinetic barriers to protect against hostile fire and environmental hazards. Heat sink, also known as a thermal clip. A detachable coolant-filled sink used to prevent weapons from overheating. They must be ejected and replaced regularly during firefights. So we have heat sinks, which were the ammo mechanism of Mass Effect 2 through 3, and now we also have ammunition blocks. Whatever. Flash forging, immediate manufacture of a usually short-lived object from raw materials using an Omni tool or other fabrication device. Omni blades are typically flash forged. FTL, faster than light travel. Kinetic barrier, also known as a shield, used to repel fast-moving projectiles, hence kinetic, but does not defend against melee attacks. What? Why not? High gravity kinetic barriers protect starships from debris, but not melee attacks. Watch them not define the term mass effect here. Mass accelerator, a railgun that lowers the mass of a projectile and then hurls it at relativistic speeds. Sufficient acceleration allows even tiny projectiles to impact with tremendous force. Mass relay, a network of mass transit facilities across the Milky Way. What are like subway stations? Used to immediately transport starships hundreds of light years. No such network exists in Andromeda. And that's because the Reapers aren't here. Metagel, a sterile medicinal salve that bonds to flesh, immediately sealing injuries against bleeding or infection. It can be removed with a small ultrasound pulse. Manufacturing, a small-scale manufacturing of 30 objects, often on the battlefield or for emergency repairs. Omnigel, a compound of alloy ceramics and other materials suspended in a semi-molten state, used with an Omni tool to build 30 objects almost in 3D. Manufacture of 3D objects. Build 3D objects almost immediately. I'm sitting here saying 30. OSD, optical storage disk, can contain data or the blueprints and programming used in manufacturing. Do we really think we're going to have like OSDs in the future, like CD-looking things? Quantum entanglement communication, instantaneous communication using two particles that are linked at a quantum level. Andromeda Initiative, Jean Garson, founder of the Andromeda Initiative. Garçon is one of humanity's wealthiest and most eccentric entrepreneurs in the Milky Way. Her business interests were wide-ranging, and she made her fortune from investments in a myriad of technology-related fields. Always a maverick, it was her vision of traveling to a new galaxy that set the Andromeda Initiative in motion. Ignoring skeptics and naysayers, Garçon spent vast sums of money building or acquiring the necessary technology and ships to make the long voyages possible. It was a private venture entirely funded by Garçon, so as to remain free from any government oversight. Also, Cerberus must have been involved a bit. Except probably not, because the other species are involved too, and I don't know that they're bothering to really work in that much from the original Mass Effect trilogy. In 2185, Garçon began a long journey to Andromeda aboard the Sapporo Nexus. In a speech given on the day of the departure, she remarked on the collective knowledge of history represented by the arcs. We carry all these things like the own tools of an artist. Excuse me. That's in there, folks. To our great empty canvas, to Andromeda, we go to paint our masterpiece. Why do we think Andromeda is empty? Why are we assuming that this galaxy doesn't have its own native life? Garçon is slated to serve as the overall leader of the initiative upon arrival. Yeah, but the Asari, Turians, and Solarians might have something to say about that. Andromeda Initiative launch. Intergalactic travel was once the topic. Intergalactic travel was once the topic of extranet discussion in the Milky Way for centuries. Several Asari Solarian-led expeditions were proposed over the years, but petered out due to lack of interest, insufficient funds, or engineering hurdles. The Andromeda Initiative's use of AI like myself allowed many of the technological problems to be solved, but provided disapproval from the Turian hierarchy and the system's lines. Building a fleet of dreadnought-sized arcs with private funding required delicate negotiations with the Citadel Council. The advanced technology essential to survival of Andromeda was often acquired by unorthodox means. Official initiative records show the Nexus departed first in 2185, escorted by a small squadron of fighters for protection, followed by 4 arcs that comprised this initial launch wave. Additional vessels were in development, including a Quarian-led ship accommodating multiple species, but construction was slow due to their diverse requirements, and the second launch wave was delayed. Initiative observations remain optimistic. Initiative observers remain optimistic. Observer reporting. You know, I'm randomly now reminded of the moment where our squad mate dude with the cool hair, not the dude out with the cool hair. Both of our squad mates so far have pretty cool hair, actually. But he said something about the Geth back home would love this. But the Geth, like, I believe this game is set between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. So the Geth are still, there is no way in
There are various ways that things can play out between the Geth and the biological species at the end of Mass Effect 2. There is no way that at the end of Mass Effect 3 you can have the Geth be friendly. At least, not all of them. Or most of them. Pathfinders. Pathfinder. Details on the missions and personnel files of all initiative Pathfinders. The role of a Pathfinder. Sorry. Pathfinders are the tip of the spear for exploring new worlds. While planetary surveying is typically a long-term... Man, this text is small on my TV screen. Long-term, multiple-team process, the initiative found an alternative. Thanks to Alec Ryder's AI research, an individual equipped with the best training and technology available, and an AI partner that can run complex studies in seconds and 100 test simulations in a minute. With AI support, Pathfinders can determine within hours whether a planet is suitable for habitation and direct the nexus as to what colonist block stands the best chance there. Pathfinders are trained to improve the viability of potential planets, initiate first contact with unknown species, find suitable outpost sites, and handle any external threats before the first colonist touches soil. The presence of the Pathfinder is a reassurance that a planet can be settled safely and with a high expectation of success. Arc species. Multiple advanced civilizations have made the journey from the Milky Way to Andromeda. The Asari. Data on the biology, culture, and history of the Asari species. I guess we are going to have a bunch of Mass Effect 1 lore. Archaeological evidence shows that abundant Thessian resources and their natural tendency to cooperate helped ancient Asari develop city building. City building, writing. This whole video is just going to be reading text. I guess I didn't realize there was this many categories. I didn't really do this in the original Mass Effect games either. But I'm doing it now, I guess. Cooperate helped them develop city building, writing, and agriculture unusually early. The tone of research papers suggests that this is a point of pride for Asari scholars. After studying a number of Prothean ruins and developing their space program, Asari astronauts found their way to the Citadel, the most advanced station in the Milky Way, deserted since the Prothean extinction. Later, when the Solarian explorers reached the station, the Asari proposed a joint government eventually known as the Citadel Council. The Asari have played a fundamental role in galactic politics ever since. Asari commandos served with distinction in the Rachni Wars despite heavy losses, and Krogan occupation of the Asari colony Lucia was the tipping point for the Krogan rebellions. In recent years, the Asari have devoted themselves to diplomatic service, including helping negotiate the 2157 human-Turian ceasefire. Not really a whole lot here about the Reaper threat, I guess. Maybe that'll come up later. Renowned for their long lifespan, biotic ability, and diplomatic nature, the Asari were one of the most influential species in the Milky Way. Asari explorers, 2600 from Asari. Asari explorers were the first to discover the immense Citadel Station, and it was the Asari who first proposed the creation of the Citadel Council, as I just read. Asari are monogendered. Their unique physiology allows them to reproduce with any species via a form of parthenogenesis, passing on genetic traits to their daughters. Almost all Asari are biotic, and the control over their nervous systems allows them to hone their powers to heights few other species can reach. An Asari can live for 1,000 years, passing through life stages referred to as maiden, matron, and matriarch. Asari matriarch are ancient and respected, often holding immense cultural and economic power, though no such framework exists in the Helios cluster. Matron is a Final Fantasy VIII character, too. And just a word. The Asari come from Thessia, whose vast element zero deposits form the basis of the most powerful economy in the Milky Way. Living in small city-states, the natural Asari tendency to cooperate led to the loose conglomerate known as the Asari Republics. Government operates as an e-democracy. Policy discussions take place over the extranet and are open to all. Decisions are made by consensus or with the advice of politically minded matriarchs. They never really got into how the Asari government works, and it is not something that bears close scrutiny so far. The Asari military is relatively small and informal, but no less lethal. Small units of volunteer Asari commandos, also known as huntresses, handle peacekeeping operations in Asari space and were among the first Council Spectres. Their 1,000-year lifespans give the Asari a long view of events, investments, social programs, and environmental policy trends towards long-term rather than short-term rewards. Their approach drew many Asari to the Andromeda Initiative, undaunted by the centuries-long journey. And Asari biology. They got blue tentacle heads, but they're still really hot. Though they appear feminine to many species, Asari are monogendered species. They're consistently maiden, matriarch, and matron, and we're supposed to think they're not females. During reproduction, they provide 2 sets of genes to their daughters. Yes, you just got done saying they appear feminine, but they're really monogendered. They have daughters. It's not like they should be saying sons. I'm just... whatever. Daughter is a gender-specific word. It is a feminine word. Whatever. They provide 2 sets of genes to their daughters in the form of parthenogenesis, with the second set modified by contact with a partner. During Asari melding, an Asari attunes her nervous system to her partner, giving and receiving electrical impulses through the skin until the two briefly become one unified nervous system. Okay. Their hearts beat as one. The fine control over their nervous system contributes to the Asari talent for biotics. Few species can train the level of control that most Asaris have by nature. And now I'm flashing back to Shepard being an idiot in the first game by thinking that Asari can't mate with each other. To which Liara was like, think about it, dumbass. How would we have ever survived? Since joining the Citadel, Asari prefer to mate outside their own species, claiming this fosters development and understanding. It also reduces incidence of Ardat Yakshi, pure-blooded Asari, who suffer a dangerous genetic disorder. If Asari are compatible with life in Andromeda, that will prove several theories about the fundamental building blocks of life. Interesting. Hadn't thought about that. Humans. So I guess the other species are not really going to be discussed. Human System Alliance. This Human Systems Alliance is a supranational government that spearheads human space exploration and settlement in the Milky Way. The Alliance is responsible for the governance and defense of extrasolar colonies and stations, and officially represents humanity on the Citadel Council. And depending on your decisions at the end of Mass Effect 1, the Citadel Council may be made up entirely of people, although they will be overthrown, because by the time Mass Effect 3 rolls around, that's not supportable anymore. The Alliance was founded out of necessity, as no single nation could fund and manage the rapid expansion of humanity from Sol. The discovery of Prothean ruins on Mars had proven that alien contact was inevitable. It is inevitable. Earning international support for the Alliance that solidified after Alliance forces liberated Shang-Chi in the First Contact War. Archived extra articles and Jean Garçon's staff bulletins revealed tension between the Alliance and the Andromeda Initiative. Destruction of dreadnought-sized ships and persistent rumors of AI development, which could have damaged humanity's standing on the Citadel, led to the Alliance demanding to oversee the Initiative's labs and shipyards. Negotiations continued to the day of the Initiative's departure. So we're totally illegal. Humans, N7. The most respected Systems Alliance officer training is awarded through Interplanetary Combatives Training, ICT, at the Vila Militar in Rio de Janeiro. Candidates at the Vila are initially given 20-hour training missions to lead teams through hostile terrain on little food or sleep. Trainees who do well are awarded an internal designation of N1 and are invited to return. Subsequent courses, N2 through N6, are often held off-planet and include instruction in zero. This is probably all in the Mass Effect 1 Codex, but I don't know that I ever read all of that. So this is kind of interesting to me. Are often held off-planet and include instruction in zero-G combat, military free-fall parachuting, jetpack flight, combat diving, combat instruction, linguistics, and frontline trauma care for human and alien biology. The highest grade of training, N6, provides actual combat experience in conflict zones throughout the galaxy. If the trainee survives these scenarios in admirable and effective fashion, he or she has finally receives a coveted N7 designation. N7 is the only ICT designation that may be worn on field or dress uniforms, which is their little way of explaining why we never see any other N designation. Andromeda species. Andromeda's galaxy is home to many new intelligent species of other forms of life. Unknown technology. On arrival in the Helios cluster, ground teams have sighted strange structures and technology in multiple locations. This technology appears to be inactive or performing functions that are not fully understood. Whatever its purpose, even cursory scans show this technology is highly advanced and constructed of unknown materials. We can tell it's advanced because it's really, really fancy looking and cool. Alec Ryder and I developed a means to interface with this technology, which he believed was causing the violent weather conditions on Habitat 7. Though we did not survive to develop his theory, the structure we activated appears to be a form of atmosphere processor. After our interface, Habitat 7's ecology showed a degree of improvement. The energy cloud hampering the Hyperion was diminished. Unknown species. Sighted on Habitat 7, this unknown species has proven to be extremely dangerous. Their armor and equipment suggest a technologically advanced species capable of spaceflight, while the battle tactics indicate attritional warfare with a centralized command. Yeah, their explanation for why we're able to kill them so easily is because they don't value their own lives, I guess. In the event of hostile encounters, first contact protocols counsel withdrawal and remote long-term study, but the circumstance of our arrival in the Helios cluster makes this unlikely. Without access to the special language or an understanding of their motives, aside from attacking on sight, I cannot advise on procedures aside from avoidance if possible and self-defense if necessary. In other words, they are our generic enemies that we'll be fighting for a while. Eventually something will happen in the plot and we'll understand who they are and what their motivation is. I doubt they will turn out to be purely evil. That if they are, I'll be a little disappointed. That's not the way Mass Effect usually rolls. Planets and locations. Habitat 7. This planet, known as Habitat 7, was one of the Golden Worlds selected by the Andromeda Initiative for early settlement. Signs pointed to a lush and biologically diverse tropical region that could easily support an outpost. With no communications from the Nexus or sister arcs upon arrival at the Helios cluster, the Hyperion approached Habitat 7 to begin survey and settlement operations as soon as possible, but even visual assessments showed that the planet was no longer viable. Habitat 7 is now a storm-racked world with an unbreathable argon-nitrogen atmosphere. Intense magnetic activity and unknown metallic elements interact with the storms, causing interesting but highly destructive electrical phenomena. The investigating Pathfinder team encountered hostile alien life and strange technology on the surface. Reactivated the technology caused a notable change in conditions on Habitat 7. However, this planet is still unsuitable for settlement, and the resulting activation ultimately claimed the life of Alec Ryder, the human Pathfinder. Unknown phenomena. Upon reaching the Helios cluster, Hyperion encountered a massive and extremely dangerous interstellar phenomena that severely damaged. There's a video of that ends with like the phenomena video from the Muppets. Only they're like they have Scott Steiner going phenomena. It's very funny. Bischoff. Bobo knows what I'm talking about. Steiner Mania, I think it was called. It's a long video from the Botchamania guys. A lot of funny stuff if you like Scott Steiner or like making fun of Scott Steiner. But the ending is just great. I think I will actually check it out after I record this video. Yes, anyway, stellar phenomena severely damaged the arc. Extending beyond the solar system, the phenomena did not appear on any of our long-term surveys of Andromeda and now lies directly in Hyperion's course. It is too early to have a clear understanding of this phenomena, which appears to be an energetic cloud of dense debris with bizarre properties. Initial sensor readings are inconclusive since the phenomena itself causes severe interference. As to speculate, I suggested on preliminary evidence that it may be a dark energy phenomenon despite inconsistencies with our current understanding of dark energy or dark fluid theory. A more disquieting possibility is that this energy cloud exhibits properties so unknown to current physicists that our sensors are unable to report accurately. Investigations are continuing. The Andromeda Galaxy, located 2.5 million light-years from the Milky Way, the Andromeda Galaxy is the largest galaxy in the local group. Also categorized as M31, Andromeda is a spiral galaxy roughly 220,000 light-years in diameter, containing approximately 1 trillion stars compared to the Milky Way's 300 billion. The Helios cluster is a large star cluster located on the galaxy's outer fringe. Andromeda has roughly 14 satellite galaxies which orbit the galactic disk. Evidence shows a disturbance where one of these companion galaxies, M32, passed through Andromeda's spiral arm several million years ago. Andromeda itself is also accelerating toward the Milky Way at roughly 100 kilometers per second. In roughly 4 billion years, the Andromeda and Milky Way galaxies will collide and merge, forming a new galactic disk. Well, why don't we just wait for it to come to us then? I'm kidding, of course. Exploration tools. Scanner. Planetary surveying, especially for potential settlement, involves meticulous scanning. However, there has been little pressure to improve planetary scanners. In its search for better solutions for its pathfinders, the Andromeda Initiative began with hardware salvaged from Geth platforms and software developed by the Solarian SDG. We're not going to explain what that is. We're assuming you know. Doesn't really matter. Hold on a second, folks. The problem with these videos where you're just reading the text really dries your throat out faster than when you actually just only periodically comment on things. With artificial intelligence support, Initiative scientists developed a fast, accurate sampling system codenamed Panoptes, linking it to the quantum computing power of an AI, which can produce multiple analyses and predictive models in seconds. They created an Omnitool-mounted scanner that completes accurate surveys in moments instead of weeks. For typical scanning, the Panoptes system uses a transmitted accelerator mass spectrometer, TRAMS. This creates a snapshot of an object's components, atomic weight, and radioactivity, and allows me to produce a more in-depth analysis. For biological materials, the Panoptes system switches. That's probably like a reference to something that I'm not pronouncing right. Switches to an electrospray ionization system so plants or animals can be scanned without causing radiation damage. I managed to read that whole thing without really taking in any of what it was saying. Field repurposing. With limited cargo space aboard the Arks for specialized gear and facing unknown dangers in Andromeda, the Initiative's philosophy is adapt to succeed. Colonists are required to have a wide variety of skills. Equipment and weapons are expected to perform multiple functions. In other words, there's this one thing that you touch and it refills ammo, shields, and whatever else. However, this adaptability is fueled by non-renewable resources like ammunition, metagel, and power cells. Knowing they would not be readily available in Andromeda, in an emergency, the Initiative's Omnitools can recover and repurpose appropriate resources to serve a similar function. Liquid coolant allows weapon heat sinks to be reused. Organic compounds can be refined into metagel, and so on. When these resources are available, the user is alerted via an interface between the user scanner and their HUD. So basically, we touch that thing, we get health back, ammo. Gotcha. They're just really dumbing this game down, aren't they? They're coming up with like a vague explanation for why they've kind of dumbed down the mechanics of it. Jump jets. Once turning this Mass Effect into a platformer. That's a great idea. Once proprietary hardware... It is fun to jump and shoot around like this, though. Once proprietary hardware for Turian Special Forces, Initiative armor comes with jump jets as standard. These jets allow a user to make extremely high jumps or hover for several seconds. All colonists are trained in their operation to evade predators or environmental hazards, obtain resources, or conduct maintenance in high places safely. Jump jet itself consists of a helium-3 microthruster with a tungsten hafnium carbide casing, a gyroscopic element 0 core function to both keep the user oriented in flight and lower their mass when hovering, keeping fuel expenditure down. Hard-coded safety features prevent continuous operation of jump jets to avoid injuring the user or melting their equipment. In other words, that's their excuse for why you just get a certain amount of thrust and you're not actually allowed to fly around, you're just jumping like a goof. Consumable resources. While Andromeda Initiative gear and weaponry is designed to be as versatile as possible, extraordinary circumstances sometimes arise. Pathfinders and scout forces often turn to less orthodox resources to ensure they survive hostile conditions. Adrenaline is a nickname for a prototype Omnigel OSD package. When deployed, it bypasses Omnitool safeties to manufacture, small-scale manufacture, new heat sinks, and provide a temporary but powerful boost to armor. It's a frickin' power-up. A shield capacitor immediately overlocks a user's shields, bringing them to full power and giving them a boost. This boost is unstable, however, and will be lost the next time the shield is breached. It's a temporary power-up. A life support pack boosts the environmental management system of the user's hardsuit, enabling them to cope with environment hazards for a longer period. Special ammunition packs supply a variety of effects to weapons fire. Incendiary ammo coats projectiles in thermite paste as they are fired. The paste adheres to and burns through armor. Cryo ammo uses Bose-Einstein condensate to freeze an enemy or slow them. Disruptor ammo projectiles carry an electrical charge that damages enemy hardsuit systems. The Cobra RPG package, Cobra, uses a volatile solution of Omnigel to manufacture a short-lived but extremely dangerous projectile launched from Omnitool. It hits with the same explosive power as a portable rocket launcher. Rocket Buster. Omnitools. Omnitools are handheld devices that contain a computer microframe, sensor analysis pack, and manufacturing fabricator. Versatile and reliable, an Omnitool can be used to analyze and adjust the functionality of most standard equipment, including weapons and armor, from a distance. From a distance, the world looks like an Omnitool. The holographic haptide interface and polypeptide cake with mint frosting also functions as a communications device. That was a very obscure TNG reference. With sufficient omnigel, probably wrong too. I think it was cellular peptide cake with mint frosting. With sufficient omnigel or other... Man, you remember when Counselor Choi was like Liara's mom? That was fun. With sufficient omnigel or other raw materials, usually converted from salvaged light alloys, plastics, or ceramics, a nanotools fabrication module can flash forward small three-dimensional objects or emergency suit patches, which allows quick repairs or modifications of the field. The Andromeda Initiative's Omnitools are designed for reliability and efficient recycling of materials. Pathfinder Omnitools take design inspiration from the models used by Solarian Intelligence Services, prioritizing the computer microframe to allow lag-free scanning and AI support. Damn, I thought we were going to be done. Ships and vehicles, too? How many? Just the one. That's not too bad. Okay, we're going to have a long video, but we're going to read all this. Charting Andromeda technology thing. Charting Andromeda galaxy for habitable planets presents unique challenge. Observations limited by light, and given Andromeda's distance, any observations from the Milky Way are 2.5 million years out of date, enough time for planet to have altered irrevocably. Initial attempts to identify resettlement sites were made by obtaining astronomical surveys and running them through predictive models, but Jean Garçon was unwilling to risk thousands of colonists without solid information. Eventually, the initiative obtained promising data from the Quarian explorers who claimed to have found a Geth array on the fringes of the Perseus Veil. This array was supposedly built from 3 mass relays, using sensors in the combined relay corridor as a form of FTL telescope to observe dark space beyond the galactic rim. Why the Geth expended so much effort to study dark space is not known. Among these observations, well, the Geth actually knew what was going on with the Reapers before anyone else did, and they may or may not. They may have been looking for them to try to talk to them, or they may have been trying to figure out if they could study them and figure out a defense. Among these observations were near contemporary surveys of Andromeda. When our predictive models confirmed them with an acceptable margin, the initiative was given to begin identifying golden worlds. Cryogenic stasis. For many species, early long-range exploration relied on cryogenic stasis. Without modern FTL capability or long-distance transit methods like mass relays, the distances involved in space travel meant most crews would die of old age before reaching their destinations. Even the freaking Asari would just go like fucking nuts away, just hanging around by themselves. Cryogenic stasis gradually, like that one Asari who was on the ship with a bunch of humans, like she stayed awake the whole time, was just like lived by herself, she'd probably go nuts. Cryogenic stasis gradually lowers the body's temperature enough to slow its vital functions, but not low enough for damaging ice crystals to form, before the pod generates a mass effect stasis field that suspends both the individual and the interior environment in the pod. Contrary to depictions in popular media, the individual is not conscious of time passing. From most travelers' perspectives, they lie down in the pod only to be awoken moments later. What? In what popular media do they maintain that you're awake the whole time? Stasis failure, while regrettably common for early expeditions, has been vastly improved over the years. Now, our failures are way better. Even in the event of catastrophic system failure, multiple monitoring VIs and fail-safes are in place to initiate an emergency wake-up so the person can die of old age. Tech and biotics. Element Zero, EZO. Also known as EZO, the rare material known as Element Zero generates a field subjected to an electrical current which raises or lowers the mass of all objects within it. This, quote, mass effect, the titular thing right there, forms the basis of modern technology, from weapons and manufacturing to enabling faster than light travel. EZO is generated when solid matter, such as a planet, is affected by the energy of a star going supernova. The material is common in the asteroid debris that orbits neutron stars and pulsars, though mining such regions is extremely hazardous and requires significant investment. Various isotopes of element zero have been identified, though the rarest have only been observed in laboratory conditions. Surveys of the Helios cluster suggest the region is rich in element zero, which was a deciding factor in the Andromeda Initiative's decision to settle there. Without EZO, the initiative's technology would quickly become obsolete. FTL drive. The starship travels faster than light using element zero drive core. In special relativity, an object approaching light speed effectively gains mass until it would take an infinite energy to propel it. But a negative electrical current running through an EZO drive core lowers the starship's mass, allowing it to travel at FTL speeds. Motive force is provided by the ship's thrusters, chemical rockets, commercial fusion torch, or military anti-proton drive. In addition to FTL drive core, without thrusters, the ship has no ability to move. and now the ship have started to move. Standard drive cores build up static charge during operation and must be disconnected periodically, or discharged periodically. Otherwise, the core discharges into the ship itself, with catastrophic results. The initiative's drive cores, intended for long-term voyages, are designed to recycle or reduce static buildup. I just had a bit of a moment of panic as far as, is my computer still okay? It is. I heard this odd noise. I'm pressing my luck with the length of this video. Mass effect fields. I do intend to actually have somebody take a look at this thing and fix it, but element 0 can increase or decrease the massive volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With the negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effect. In space, no one can hear you spin. I mean, in space, low mass fields allow FTL travel and expensive surface-to-orbit transit. High mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. The Andromeda Initiative's technology relies heavily on mass effect fields, from reduced mass supply drops for outposts to the impressive long-range drive cores on the arcs. Biotics. Biotics are rare individuals, the ability to create and manipulate mass effect fields. Didn't we say that almost every Asari is biotic? Given the correct implants and careful training, a biotic can raise defense barriers, yank opponents off their feet, or shred an enemy apart at the molecular level. Biotic gains these abilities after exposure to dust form element 0 in utero, or via secondary exposure at a young age, though this often results in fatal cancer. Roughly 10% of those exposed develop element 0 nodules along their nervous system. Once activated by the body's electrical impulses, these nodules allow the biotic to create mass effect fields, though most need a neural implant to wield them effectively. Some species, like the Asari, are naturally biotic, but human biotics are still relatively rare, and many view them with suspicion. The Andromeda Initiative has proven attractive to biotic applicants. And last, ships and vehicles. Right now we just have Ark Hyperion. Ark Hyperion serves as the main vessel for carrying human settlers bound for Andromeda. Named after a Greek mythological figure associated with knowledge of celestial bodies, the Hyperion represents a breakthrough in intergalactic travel. Substantial money and resources were developed to its construction, all privately funded by Jean Garçon and the Andromeda Initiative. Built to withstand the rigors of a nearly 2.5 million light-year voyage, the Hyperion is outfitted with ODSY drive core technology, which allows the ship to make a 600-year voyage safely at FTL speeds. It features enough stasis pods to accommodate approximately 20,000 settlers and crew. Ark Hyperion left the Milky Way in 2185 as part of an initial wave of departures under the command of Captain Nozumi Dunn. Wait, who was Nozumi Dunn? Who did she end up being? Or is she somebody who's doesn't warrant a I guess Nozumi Dunn doesn't warrant a Codex entry. So the Codex is basically, we've read through it all. I'm just going through marking everything red, which I believe I can just do with a single button click if I wanted to. Nexus Reunion. The Hyperion is docked with the Nexus, the support hub for Andromeda Initiative teams. Travel to the Nexus via tram. Well, I'd rather save the game if that's okay with you. What? We can't save?
You gonna be okay, Ryder?
The captain just called me Pathfinder. This is really happening.
Just take a deep breath.
I still can't believe Dad's dead. This should have been his moment.
But now it's yours. You just need
Where
to
are you
decide what you're
guys?
gonna do with it.
Where
the hell are you guys?
I'm just not sure I'm ready.
We weren't ready to fall out of the sky on Habitat 7, but we survived that.
Right. So, always keep a jump jet handy.
Although I don't have one right now. I could certainly use one. Oh, there you guys are. Well, I really want to get a save. Not that I did anything other than read the Codex.
Connections from the Ark to the Nexus.
What's the priority?
Start running power and data links first, then move to secondary comm traffic.
Got it. I'll follow up with their engineers later.
Can I save, please?
Captain wants to see a full-duty roster.
I just updated the charts.
Got EZO. Maybe that somehow counts as saving the game. I don't think it does. That's okay. Well, you know, Chapter 2 Nexus might be where we end up starting next time. We might see a little bit again, but I have got to call it a video. We read a whole lot of Codex, folks. That was sure fun. When we come back, we will continue with the story with our new role of Pathfinder. I'm MysteriousJG. I want to thank you guys for watching or listening, having the patience for it. This was a very skippable video. Hopefully I'll remember to describe it as such for anyone who actually reads the video descriptions. But next time, not necessarily an action-filled video. I wouldn't expect that we're going to go straight into more combat, but you never know, because I don't know the story. But I'm thinking we'll probably get a lot of, like, you know, now that we have a bunch of crap items that we're supposed to sell to merchants, thinking we might meet merchants at some point.